I want to go across to Ajay Shukla and get him to respond to some of this, and I want to show you this graphic which goes back to 2001. And if you look at, and if you see the way some BJP spokespeople have been attacking USAID, it would make it seem as if this is a very dodgy, slippery organization. But then I asked the question, why has the BJP government over the last 10 years been taking money from USAID? I'll show you there are several G2G, government-to-government fundings that happen through USAID. So look at this chart on your screen right now. Going back to 2001, we look at both the NDA regime, we look at the UPA regime, then we look again at the NDA regime, and we go on to now, and at the bottom you see the American presidents. And what this shows, Ajay Shukla, clearly is that money has been coming in at all times, and arguably more money came in on the watch of the NDA than it came on the watch of the UPA. That's the data. It's on your screen right now. You can see what this data reveals. I'll just explain this to our viewers in a second so that you can understand what I'm saying. Basically, this is 2001. This is 2024. This is when Vajpayee's government loses, and this is when Vajpayee's government loses and the UPA government comes in. So the allocations are high in the Vajpayee era, the allocations are high in lower in the UPA era, and then they go up in the NDA era again. So now if this is really as surreptitious, as dodgy, as slippery an organization as the government would have us believe, then why, Ajay Shukla, has the government been taking money from USAID even while 10 years of BJP have been in power?
Rahul, I agree with a lot of what has already been spoken on this show. But the point that we must always bear in mind is, in India, one of the few things that we can actually hold up as a triumph of democracy and as something that other countries would do well to emulate is the integrity of the electoral process. And by that, I would even add the funding dimension to this electoral process. It's something that we need to be proud of. And when we have a discussion on this, it certainly should not fall down into tutu meme along party lines. What could the money have been spent on? It's impossible to believe that a sum that we're talking about here, $29 million, could have come in and be disbursed to whoever, and the government does not know about it. This is a government that keeps a careful watch on NGOs, on aid organizations, and so on. And like Mr. Ranganathan just spoke before me, he said that we have to keep an eye on this, and it cannot be done without the government. How has the government allowed this? So it's I would just say that we need to keep a sort of a careful eye. There's this classic saying about India and America, not so much India but certainly America, that to be America's friend, to be America's enemy is dangerous, but to be America's friend is fatal. And this is a classic example of how, in a sort of funding mode, when countries should be looking out for each other's interest, President Trump just dismisses it as a toss-off comment. I would love to get to the bottom of this, but I don't think any of us.
No, but that's a good point that you make, and I want to put that question to Pradeep Bhandari. This is where India and Indians should come together as one against whoever's leveraging this charge and say, "Batao kisko diya, jisko diya, account dikhao, arrest the person against whom this is done." Instead, we are turning this into a BJP versus Congress issue, whereas there is no evidence to back the charge, financial trail and evidence to back the charge that's been put out in the public domain so far. Therefore, did you jump the gun, and is this now boomeranging on you?
Well, Rahul, allow me a rebuttal, please, because I was interrupted twice. Rahul, I believe it's not about BJP Congress, it is about national security. I am very, very sure that the United States of America's president has more facts on his table, is privy to more facts than none of the media outlets or which we are quoting. Point number 3, we all are aware about there is two types of funding. One is documented on paper and the other is non-documented on paper. So are you telling me that the president of United States of America is not aware of the NGO network through which USAID was funding lot of illegitimate activities before 2024? What was said was in 2024 the plan was to fund 21 $21 million in order for political interference, which was cancelled by Dodge. However, between 2014 and 2024, this very government has cancelled licenses of 20,000 NGOs because they A, violated the FCRA guideline, B, they were using the foreign fund for not the activities for which they were taking fund, but they were using that fund for illegitimate activities.
No, but can I pause you to say, look at the facts of this case. No, once again, let me pause you, Pradeep, let me pause you to say that the Doge's charge itself says that US taxpayers' dollars were going to be spent on the following items, all of which has been cancelled, which basically means that the people levelling the charge are saying that this money never came. You are alleging Congress took it, you are alleging there was a plot to overthrow Modi, the elections are well and over, the money is not come, that is part of the charge that's been levelled.
Please note, what we are saying is that the President of United States of America said that there was proposal for $21 million to be used for getting somebody else elected. And as a citizen of this country, people of this country need to know, what were the conversations? Who was that somebody else? What were the conversations between that entire network? Even if that money is cancelled. And are you telling me that if that is the precedent before 2024, lot of NGO activities was not traced? You remember when we cancelled the FCRA license, what was said that we were carving out freedom of expression? But now it has been proven that the NGO activities were used in the past, and now there was a proposal to fund $21 million which was cancelled. So what we are telling here is that what was that network? Was there a conversation between the leader of opposition? Do we still know the...
No, but how do you know he was talking to the leader of the opposition? There are BJP leaders, Pradeep Bhandari, who've been brand ambassadors. One second, Pradeep Bhandari. There are BJP leaders who've officially been brand ambassadors of USAID. You are making it seem as if there's a hotline between USAID and the Congress. BJP leaders have publicly been your brand ambassadors for USAID.
The charge here is not on US. Rahul, the charge here is not about USAID distributing the money. The charge here is that through the NGO network, the money was used for democratically getting somebody else elected.
The money never came.
The charge here is not about the money quantum. The
money never came.
The usage of the money.
The money never came.
And who is that somebody else?
Arey sir, the money never came. The money got cancelled before it came.
The money never came because it... But... The money in 2024, let's imagine that what Dodge has said has not come, but you need to know that if there was a proposal to get somebody else elected, which is now being cancelled, what were the conversation on?
No, sure, that's an important point. Okay, so here's the nub of what Pradeep Bhandari is saying, which needs to be looked at carefully, and I want Sanjay Jha to respond to this, that there is documented and there is undocumented financial trail. If this, and Donald Trump has said this so often now, therefore it is possible that as per some undocumented trail through NGOs money was given, because Donald Trump did say that they wanted to get somebody else elected. He's saying, boss, the American president is saying it. It's not just the financial numbers and what you can see in the budget. Kuch to soch ke bol raha hoga na Trump.
Now let me answer the BJP right away. Number one, they have already backtracked by saying we are not sure if the money came in. Obviously, they're embarrassed after Narendra Modi was mentioned by Donald Trump as receiving $21 million, which means it went to the government. Rahul, I tell you how ridiculous this statement is. So Narendra Modi's government gets money to topple itself. I mean, how bizarre is that argument? Point number one.
No, but how do you know that the Modi government got the money? It could have also gone to NGOs. Sanjay Jha, it could have well gone to NGOs.
But Rahul, let me answer that. So here is the question. And I challenge, and I can tell you why the BJP has no answers, because if their allegations had even a grain of truth, they would have come out with it by now, because it takes less than a few hours to put the facts out, because they all happen through banking channels. But now let me do the biggest expose.
I can't have two people speaking at the same time. Let Sanjay complete.
Bhandari, please do not interrupt. Let's have a civilized conversation. So Rahul, here is the big expose on the BJP. Number one, they are talking about $21 million to destabilize the Indian government. That is 160 crores. Now your viewers need to know the unconstitutional fraudulent electoral bond scheme, probably the biggest scam since 1947 introduced by the BJP, had around 8 to 10,000 crores in collections. Majority went to the BJP. But Rahul, you know the truth, that in an election of the Lok Sabha, the expenditure is around 55 to 60,000 crores. So the bigger scam in India is not this so-called 20 million. Of course, investigated. But India is running a parallel economy during the time of the election.
Okay, now that's
Let's not miss the elephant in the room.
debate, and we'll come to that. I want to go across to Professor Anand Ranganathan on the point that are we getting caught in the vortex of American politics, Professor Ranganathan, that Donald Trump is doing American politics, and instead of uniting and pushing back, saying, show us the evidence, who did you pay, and then acting against whoever got the money, we seem to be turning this into a government versus opposition and basically getting trapped. And he changes his mind. One day he says 21 million, one day he says 18 million, one day he says my friend Modi got it, one day he says they were trying to get rid of the Modi government. We don't even know what he's saying and which latest statement to believe.
Look, it's very simple. A hypocrite follows two rules. Number one, that he never believes that he'll get caught out for his hypocrisy. And number two, he keeps on mentioning other things that keep on making him dig into a hole more and more and more. And that is why even on this panel, I dare say, Rahul, you will not get the right answer. I talked about electoral interference and I asked a simple question. What is interfering in Indian elections? Is not a foreign company donating tens of billions of dollars anonymously to Indian political parties interference in Indian elections? Now you go around the panel, many people will say yes. I don't know what Pradeep would say because that would be implicating him. But even Sanjay would not say correct answer because Congress also obtained thousands of crores to anonymous electoral bonds. So he's mentioned BJP, but he hasn't mentioned Congress. That when he thought that anonymous electoral bonds were a corrupt system and a scam, why on earth did it accept 1,600 crores through the same mechanism and has not returned it to those foreign companies? So you could never get the right answer. The problem is that in this country, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can fool all of the people all of the time.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, very quick rejoinder.
Yeah, Rahul, by the logic of Dr. Ranganathan, why just government agency? I will say FDI, because a lot of it comes from very dubious financial institutions. They're coming from oligarchs into India's foreign direct investment.
No, now this debate is going in all kinds of directions. No, one second. This debate, let's just focus on what's really going on. Pradeep Bhandari wants to make a quick interjection. Then I want to go across to Colonel Shukla. Very quickly, Pradeep.
Sanjay Jha lied on your show. This is the Business Standard report. He was speaking about electoral donation. The Congress party saw the maximum surge, that is 320% surge in the donation through electoral bonds in 2024, which was more than 150% more than
Talk
the party. That is where I'm saying it is not to do with the government to government deal. It is about the NGO.
Viewers of India.
No, one second. That's not the point.